Welcome to the library's tutorial on using Zotero with Chrome or Safari. So we're going to begin by bringing up our Chrome browser or Safari. They'll work the same, but we're only going to be showing you Chrome today. And we're going to want to make sure that we have Microsoft Word closed, the program completely closed. And if you're using or trying to use a word processor with Zotero other than Microsoft Word, do note that the only other word processor that works with Zotero is the free OpenOffice suite, which you can download. Otherwise, we're going to assume you're using Word. And note if you're using Pages for Mac that it will not work for that, nor will it work with WordPerfect or anything else other than Microsoft Word or the Open Access version. So we're going to begin by installing the Zotero for Chrome and also the word processor plugin, but we'll show you how easily that works. So we're going to begin by going to Zotero.org, so Zotero.org, and then we're going to click on the Download Now button, and we're going to come down and we're going to use the Zotero standalone. So we're going to use either the standalone for Windows or Mac or Linux if you are a Linux user. But we're going to do the standalone version first, and then after that we're going to use the connector for Chrome. And here, if you were using Safari, then you would do this one. So if you're a Mac user, you'll use this one, the standalone with Safari, or Chrome if you use that one. But we're going to do the standalone for Windows. We're going to click there, and then we're going to install this. And then we're going to allow that. And we're going to just install the standard version. And we're not going to launch Zotero yet. We're just going to finish that. And then we're going to also do the connector for Chrome. So we're going to click there and continue there and install that. And it tells us it's now installed. So we'll see the little red C up there. So we're going to now go back to the library's homepage here. And the first thing we're going to do is bring up our Zotero standalone. So you'll find that in your Start menu somewhere, and it will look like this. Now, Zotero will allow us to create different collections here. My library is going to be everything, but if we click on that and then right click, then we'll see that we have the option of creating a new collection. So we're going to create a new collection called Theodicy for our paper that we're going to be writing on Theodicy. So we're going to put in that and say, okay, so this is going to be where everything goes. Whatever is highlighted will be where Zotero puts your records. So my library is going to be everything that you've collected, and then certain ones are going to be about Theodicy. So having created that one, that collection, we're just going to minimize this but not close it. And we're going to first look at how we put books in our Zotero collection. So we're going to go to the library's homepage, and then we're going to click on Books. Now, Trinity has two different forms of the TrendCat catalog. There's this first one here, this little box, and this one here. And then there's also Classic TrendCat. Classic TrendCat, I'll warn you, works much, much better with Zotero than does the regular kind of newer form of TrendCat. So I strongly encourage you to click on the Classic TrendCat and do your searching for books in Trinity through Classic TrendCat. You can also use Zotero with WorldCat, either the WorldCat.org or the First Search WorldCat. It will also work with Amazon and Google and other places where you might find a book. But we're going to do our search for Theodicy as subject and search on that. And then we're going to go into the Theodicy Biblical Teaching subset. And these are a list of books that we have on Theodicy, what the Bible teaches about Theodicy. Now notice up here in the address line, there's now a yellow file folder. If we click on that, then Zotero is saying these are things that you could add to your library. So if we wanted to, we could click on 1, 2, 3, or all of them if we wanted to. For now, I'm just going to cancel that because I want to go in and show you how you would put one specific one. So we're going to come down to this one by Crenshaw, Defending God, and click on that one. And now we see up here in the address line this blue rectangle, which is Zotero's way of saying, I found a book. So if we want to put that in our Zotero collection, we just click on that. And then we see down here in the bottom right, Saving Item. And if we go back to our Zotero collection, we see that it has brought in that book, Defending God by Crenshaw. There's a place, Oxford in New York. Since we're in the U.S., we could just click in there and delete out the Oxford and just leave New York. That's all we need. And then Oxford University Press and the date. It tells us how many pages it is. And then also down here toward the bottom, it would give us the call number here in Trinity's library, in Rolfing Library, so you'd know where to find that book. So that's basically how you go about bringing in just a regular book by one author or multiple authors in Zotero. So that one is just fine. We're going to go back to our TrinCat. We're going to go back to our titles list here because I want to show you a quirk of Zotero. And that is this one edited by Morgan and Peterson, Suffering in the Goodness of God. So I'm going to go into that one by clicking on that title. And again, click on the blue book up here, and it says Saving Item. And then I go back to my Zotero collection, and I see that it's a book, and here's the title. And notice that Morgan and Peterson have been brought in as contributors. They're actually editors, so I'm going to click on that one and change it to editor. So click on contributor, change it to editor. Now you would also, if you had like an editor and a translator, they'll typically both come in as contributors, and then you would pick translator or editor depending on who that person is. In this case, they're both editors, so this is fine. There's the series title, Wheaton, Illinois. Now Trinity will probably take out that ILL and just replace it with capital I, capital L, the publisher, the date. And again, if we come down, we'd see that there is a call number here in the Trinity Library as well. So that's a fix that you'll typically have to make for edited books, translated books. You'll be changing contributor into editor. But otherwise, books works pretty much just like that. So in terms of bringing in books, you'll do the same thing. Whether it's in Classic TrinCat or WorldCat, you'll look for this symbol of a book up here and click there and bring in the book. Now we're going to go and find out how we can bring in, say, journal articles. So we're going to go into, for instance, the Atlas database. And if you're off campus, as I am, you'll need to log in. And we're going to do our search again for the Odyssey. So we're just going to put that in, and we're going to search on that. And again, we see the yellow file folder. So Zotero says, I found a list of things. Again, we could click there, pick multiple things if we wanted to. But we're going to take this one, published in our own Trinity Journal, and click on that one. And now notice up here, rather than a blue book, there's a faint image of a page with little lines on it. And that's Zotero saying, I found an article. So I click on that one. And again, I see Saving Item. And again, go into my Zotero here. And this is my journal article that it brought in. Now notice that the title is not quite capitalized properly for headline style, which is what most people at Trinity use. So if I wanted to, I could right-click on the title and transform that to title case. The authors, find, the journal, volume, issue, pages, date, I could leave as is, or I could click in there and take out the spring because it's not necessary. So for a journal article, sometimes, but not always, you may need to transform the title case and maybe do some tweaking of the date. But otherwise, journal articles tend to come in just fine like that. Now we're going to go back to our result list here because I want to show you how essays work. These are chapters of books, and this will work the same way whether you're finding them in ATLA or PsycInfo or Academic Search Premier. So we're going to pick essays here and update our list. And now these are all essays, which is in ATLA a chapter of a book. So here's the chapter of the book. So I'm going to go into that one. And again, I see my familiar little image up here, which Zotero says I found an article. But if I click on that one, and down here it's going to be saving item, I notice there's a different symbol than the article. And if I go into my Zotero, I see that it is now an open book. It's not a closed book, it's an article, but now it's a book section. So this is a chapter of a book, and then this will be the title of that chapter. Again, if I wanted to, I could right-click on that, transform it to title case. Author is fine. The book title, again, I'll probably right-click and transform that to title case. The place is fine. For the publisher, I might click in here and actually end up spelling these out. So spell them out properly. The date is fine. The pages are fine. So that one is good to go. So for a book section, you might or might not have to transform the title case, do a little tweaking here, but otherwise not much to do for book sections. Now we're going to look at one last source, and that is for finding dissertations and theses. So we're going to go back to the library's home page. We're going to go into databases over here and go down to the D's and go into dissertations and theses. And we're going to scroll down and go into the A&I here. And this is the comprehensive collection there. And we're going to do our Theodicy. And we're going to search on that. Now again, I see my file folder up here, and again, I could click on Citation and Abstract to bring in that particular one, or just to show you that it does actually work, I'm going to go into the folder up here, and let's see if it will actually bring up the list here at some point. And because I'm impatient and not really willing to wait, I'm just going to cancel that and go into the Citation and Abstract for this specific one. Now notice the symbol up here. This is a Zotero saying I found a thesis. So if I click on there, then again I see saving item. Go into my Zotero here. So now this is my thesis. Zotero doesn't distinguish between master's theses, PhD dissertations, PhD theses. They're all theses to Zotero. But so the title is fine, the author is fine. There's an abstract which you could look at, leave in, or take out. The type is PhD, but we're going to click and add after PhD space DISS period. And if it was master's, if it was MA, we'd do MA space thesis, THESIS. So we're going to add either the dissertation DISS period or thesis spelled out. The university is fine. The place, we're actually just going to click in here and delete out that because there's no need to include a place for Harvard University. The date is fine, tells you how many pages, etc. Now, we're going to look at the different options that it gives you here. So far, we've just been looking at the info tab on everything. But I want to start with showing you this journal article down here. Now, this is the basic info that we saw already. If we wanted to, on this one, we could click on the notes, and we could add a note here. If you click on note, then it pulls up this little mini word processor, and you can type in quotes from the article, your own reading notes, thoughts about the article. You can put in the different formatting that's up here. There's no way that I know of to automatically export from the Zotero notes to your Word notes, but you can copy and paste, and when you copy and paste, the formatting that you put in Zotero note will transfer over into your Word. So you can add a note if you want. Then you can also add tags. Now look at this one. When we click on tags, there are 6 tags already, and these are the subject headings that Zotero found in that article. So if you're happy with these, you're fine. But you could also click on add. So you can make up your own tag, either a word or a phrase, whatever you want to use. And the reason you might want to make tags is that you could then come up here and search. Once you have a fairly substantial Zotero collection, you could come in and you could search on all the different things that you tag with a particular word. So if we wanted to find everything we've got on Theodicy, for instance, we could pick that and then search. And no surprising, most of the things we brought in have that. So anyway, you can add tags if you want, so that you can come back later and find everything that has that tag. And then relate it. Sometimes you may want to relate one or more different books or articles together. Say this article is heavily dependent on this book or whatever. So I could then pick something and say, okay, and now I know that this article is related to this book. Now I'm going to come back to this one here, and then I'm going to take you to the EBSCO record and show you here. If I wanted to, I could then click on this one. It would take me back to my EBSCO record, and then if I wanted the full text, I could click here and download the full text as well. So there is a link back to from Zotero where it found it, and then you could just click there and go back to the link that you found. So that's all there, and these are the different options that you have here. And if I wanted to say, if I wanted to not have to link out to the article, then I could also come here to this little paper clip, and I could attach a stored copy of the file. So if I downloaded the PDF and saved it on my computer, then I could click here, and then it would want to go out and find that article, and then I would open it, and it would attach the PDF to that one. I could do the same thing if I say scan this chapter in this book. I could attach the PDF to this record in Zotero. So it's a way of organizing not only the information about the different sources, but if you have the full text, you can also tie it directly here, so you never have to worry about where did I save this PDF copy of this one, because they'll all be linked directly to your Zotero record. So at this point, we're going to assume that all of our records are in. And we're going to now think about how we can write our paper using Zotero. So we're going to just minimize this, and I'm going to bring up my Microsoft Word program. Now, if you have Word 2007 or 2010, or if you have Mac 2008, 2011, somewhere up here, either it'll say add-ins or you'll see a little symbol. You'll click on that, and you'll see your Zotero toolbar. Now this one is actually a series of 7 symbols, but yours may well be more textual form. It may say add citation, add bibliography, whatever. But if I hold my cursor here, I see that this one is Zotero insert citation. So if I click on that, then it asks me what style I want to use. Now, if I'm counseling, I'll pick APA. If I'm a PhD, ICS, or EDS, I'll pick Chicago author date. MDiv, PhD, whatever, I would pick Chicago full note. That's the same as Turabian. So I do pick the full note. And then if I wanted to, I could add a different thing here. Now there is the option at Zotero.org, and I'll show you. So if I wanted to go out, let's go back to Zotero.org. And then under documentation, if I come down a little bit on the page here, then there's the Zotero style repository. So these are all the different styles that Zotero supports. And there are obviously 1967 currently. So the one I want to add is the Society of Biblical Teaching. So I'm going to type that in there, and then it finds this style here, so I'm going to install that one. And then I'm going to click here and install that one. So now it's installed that in my Zotero. So if I come back to my Word document here and install this, hopefully if things went well, then there's my SBL. So SBL does not come preloaded like these other ones do, but you can go out to Zotero and install it. So, but we're going to just pick the Chicago manual style full note. And we're going to do footnotes, so you could do endnotes, but typically we do footnotes. And we're going to say OK. And then this big red rectangle pops up, and Zotero is saying, what do you want to cite? So I can start typing in either author, title, whatever, and then Zotero says these are the ones that you have that word in. So it pulls this up, and then I can click on that one and type in my page number, and then I can hit the enter key again, and it inserts that footnote down here in proper Chicago style or Turabian style. So then I could go on writing my paper for my next citation. And again, I'm going to just put in theodicy. And now I'm going to pick this Crenshaw book here. And again, I could put in a page number. And again, hit enter key once, twice. And it inserts the book record down here. And of course, I could double space between the notes and indent them on the left as TIE requires. And then go on writing my paper here. So I'm ready to insert my next one, and now I'm going to pick this one, Morgan and Peterson, and I'll say page 4. And then I also want to cite, say, other records in this footnote. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm also going to add, say, this one, and I can search out another one, say this one, and then having done that, then I can put in these 3, hit the enter key, and then down here, of course, it inserts the first one and the page number, and then I could click in here and say see also like that, and do any kind of editing I want here, add any kind of content notes. So it does separate them properly with the little semicolon that you see here. So it is possible to add multiple references in the same footnote. So then I would just go on writing my paper here, insert my next one, and let's do, say, this one. Let's see, we haven't done, let's see, we'll do this one here. And we'll put in again a page number 1 and add that one in, and down here it's inserted that one, and so now I'm going to assume that basically my paper is done. So I could come to wherever I want to insert my bibliography, and if I wanted to, I could insert a page break and obviously type the title bibliography, put my cursor wherever I want my bibliography, and then up here I can click on this third one from the left, the red outline. It says insert bibliography. I click there, and then everything that I cited in these footnotes up here, it does the proper bibliographic entry for. Some of them may need a little tweaking here. Here, Christopher W., I'd want to add a period. And then otherwise, they look pretty good. So you see my PhD adds this period, Zotero adds the comma, as it should. And then, of course, you could double space between these as you need to. So you can insert your bibliography by clicking on this Insert Bibliography button here, and then everything that you cited will be there. Now, sometimes you may want to insert your bibliography not from everything that you cited, but from everything that was in your collection. Let's say that you actually used something in your research that you didn't actually cite, but you do want to include it in your bibliography. Then I could come back into my Zotero collection and right-click on my collection again, and create bibliography from collection. Again, asking what style I want. I'll pick this one. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard and say OK. And then come back to my Word paper here. And in this case, I think I will just go ahead and insert a page break. So we start on a blank page. And then back to my add-ins. And then I'm going just to paste in. So Control V, and it pastes them all in. So everything that was in my collection is now here in my bibliography. Now, one quirk of Zotero is that when you bring it in this way from the collection, the indentation is a little off here. You see that it's not quite on your margins. So you just need to kind of highlight your bibliography there, and then adjust the margins here. So bring the top one over, and then adjust the hanging indents here, and now it's all fixed. And then again, you could double space between the different records. So you can create your bibliography from the Zotero button here for everything that you cited, or you can also use the Create Bibliography option by right-clicking there and creating your bibliography. So now it is possible also, in this case I used Chicago, but if I had, say, wanted to use a different one, even after my paper is done, I could come in here to Set Doc Preferences, and I could say, you know, I really want this one in APA, and say OK. And then it adjusts, except for the first one, it adjusts all the footnotes now to parenthetical references in APA style. And then, of course, the bibliography has been transformed also into APA style. So you can change your doc preferences at any point in the paper that you want to, from one style to another, simply by doing this one here. So that basically is our introduction to the Zotero program, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, we invite you to go to the library's homepage and then click on Help. You can either email us or call us or text us, or you can contact me directly, Kevin Compton, the Theological Librarian. This is my email, this is my phone. Any questions or problems that you might have setting it up or using it, we'll be happy to help you with. So thank you for watching this tutorial, and again, we hope that you've benefited from it.